Mahatma Gandhi once said, "A man is but the product of his thoughts. What he thinks, he becomes." A wise man, and Gandhi was more right than he may have known, because we're learning that our thoughts affect not only our emotions and our behaviors, but our overall health too.
Our thoughts, the way we think about things, affect our emotions. So if we have a lot of negative thoughts, it's going to lead to depression or anxiety. Many people with medical illness and chronic pain have a lot of negative thoughts, which is understandable because people suffering with medical problems or disabilities do get negative thoughts. They get a little depressed, or they get a little down or a little anxious and begin to have lots of negative thoughts that kind of flood them. And we have found, as the research has shown, that thoughts, positive thoughts, affect your emotions. They can either make you feel more depressed or they can make you feel less depressed. And emotions themselves actually affect physical health. So that's the connection between thoughts and health. And that's why many of these techniques, learning how to think positively, can really help you be healthier.
Identifying automatic negative thoughts, what we call ants, is the first step towards positive thinking. These are things we might think all the time, perhaps without realizing it. Statements like, "No one likes me," or "I'm so unlucky," or "Nothing ever goes right for me." When you realize you've had a negative thought, stop and substitute a positive thought in its place.
Thoughts such as, there are things I can do. There are people who really do care for me a lot. It's kind of like seeing the silver lining in the cloud. So for example, someone who has a disability or a medical illness or chronic pain, many times it might mean you have to stay at home, you can't go to work. But the opportunity behind that is that perhaps you can spend more time with your kids. Perhaps there are things that you could do at home that you haven't had a chance to do yet, or something that maybe you've always wanted to do, a hobby that now you can do. So there really always is a positive side to things.
Of course, if you've had negative thoughts for a long time, this can be a struggle, especially on those days when negative thoughts threaten to engulf you completely. It's helpful to have a list of positive thoughts handy, nice statements about yourself, things you're thankful for, names of people you love. On those difficult days when positive thoughts seem elusive, you can turn to that list.
Similarly, imaging positive outcomes can be very helpful. It can actually help having a positive outcome. So the technique, the way imagery and relaxation works is first you start with breathing, to take slow, deep breaths in, and when you breathe in, you feel like you're taking in relaxation, and then when you breathe out, you feel like you're letting go of tension and discomfort. And just focusing on slow breathing for a few minutes can be very helpful. You can then add some imagery to that.
Imagery is different from person to person, situation to situation. So imagine goals or outcomes that encourage positive thinking. If you're seeking relaxation, imagine a happy, calm place. If you're struggling with a handicap or a new disability, imagine how you'll feel when you conquer that obstacle. Focusing in on little details, including sights, sounds, and smells, will enhance the experience. It might sound silly, but this kind of mental convincing produces some amazing results.
We actually did a study a number of years ago that was published in the British Journal of Anesthesia, showing that patients who are actually under anesthesia, if you play a tape to them about positive outcomes, so the tape was saying things like, "The surgeon's delighted with your progress, you're going to be in your recovery room very shortly, you're going to be leaving the hospital shortly," those patients who heard those suggestions while they're under anesthesia actually did better. They actually had fewer side effects post-surgically than patients who didn't hear that tape.
Positive thinking can be helpful for everyone, not just those who struggle with anxiety, depression, or chronic illness. Think of it as emotional exercise. Just like physical exercise is healthy for your body, thinking positively is healthy for your mind and your overall well-being. I'm Dr. Mike Rosen, and you're watching the eHealth Network. See you next time.